Don't panic, I'm here. 99.7 FM. Whoa, Sofo Kluche. You are responsible. And therefore you can be held responsible. He also said lust satisfies and love sacrifices. I was zooming in traffic, but I was in class for the sermon. Name is Nortey. On a Sunday afternoon, that's your reason why. I've had a rough weekend. He said the weapons will be formed, but they will not prosper. Nothing can make us diffy. Stick and stay. I'm here.
Joy 99.7.
I'm here and you are there, and that's why we call it not a frequency but a family. Not a program but a promise. Welcome aboard. Tell somebody to tell somebody that, hey, Nortey by Nature is on air, and Ultimate Health, the role and importance of biomedical science in healthcare. We're hitting it again because if it's nice, you do it twice. Elizabeth Irene Beatty, Chief Chonekudolo of Patholab Solutions, and you just celebrated your 55th birthday. Wow. I saw it. I'm a status police. Happy birthday, darling.
Thank you, no.
5'5".
5'5".
Charlie, we're getting there.
I know, right?
Charlie. Me, I refuse to resign and retire. But I'm there. Happy birthday, darling.
Thank you, no.
Get Sean Sekle.
Fifth floor,
Uh-huh.
room 5, fifth floor.
Exactly.
Fifth floor.
Fifth floor,
Uh-huh.
room 5.
Room 5.
Absolutely.
Now,
55.
room number then.
I don't know.
You don't know. Gershon Sekle is the CEO of G2 Medical Laboratories, and I believe when we sort out the internet, we will have Dr. Dennis Edujesi, consultant, biomedical consultant. That sounds funny. All right, I'll put it through the lab again. But yeah, Dennis will be on Zoom with us. We're going back over what we did last week, a mixture of medicine, biology, chemistry, wine, everything tree. You might think of the lab, investigations, samples being taken, reports being given, ranges, reference ranges. This is high, this is low, this is indistinct, and so many other things, right? We talked about it with them last week. I'm back on fire, and I hope you are. WhatsApp is 055 11 11 997, right? Facebook, YouTube, and X. So we are going to do the topic diffy. My guest, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You like my power?
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
No.
You like my power?
Yes,
Very.
we do.
Can you check the reference range? Charlie,
I don't think it'll be off the chart.
Charlie, I pick it. Happy birthday once again.
Thank you.
Last
Nortey.
week we explained what biomedical science is, and I do believe we underscored your important, pivotal, critical, non-negotiable role in healthcare. Though many people may not acknowledge or recognize, should I say, at the top of their minds, the role you play. Right? We heard a lot about you guys when it was COVID and other things, but yeah, on a regular daily basis, you guys are determining, identifying, isolating the footprints of, should I say, even wellness and then disease as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Gershon.
We have Dennis up.
Hey! Oh, honey, Dennis, Edu Jesse. How is it up there in Kumasi? Do I have Dennis? Unmute, oh. Have you unmuted? All right, he's smiling at me, but I don't think he can hear me. Ziggy, do some zigging. All right, but Dennis is a consultant biomedical scientist. He's on the board of allied health professionals. Blah 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 blah. But we're coming back to the topic. So Gershon,
Yeah.
did we leave any doubt in the mind of listeners last week about your role and importance?
Not really, but again, when we work at the background, and at times the acknowledgement is coming, it's being given to the frontliners.
Okay.
Because when we diagnose the diabetes, we diagnose the renal failures, the liver disease, and the rest, and we give the information to the frontline, which are the clinicians. After they've gone through the results, using the results to sort out their clients, the acknowledgement goes to them because they are seen at the front line.
Right.
Yeah, so though it's a bit worrying, but we are determined to provide the services to the clients.
Right. I'm determined to pick on that again. You say when we diagnose.
Yes.
Can we specifically, essentially, maybe categorically, emphatically say that what you do constitutes diagnosis, Baba? you're picking up all the things. You're building the case of the prosecution.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would say it feeds into the
the
Yes.
diagnosis.
Exactly.
Okay, because I know I'll get phone calls.
Right. It feeds into that. It could be, for example, imagine you can see a print and it's a little blurry. You have an idea,
Okay.
a very strong idea of what this could be, and
Okay.
you put on a pair of spectacles and suddenly everything is sharper.
Okay.
So I would say the medical laboratory results would then help to sharpen the diagnosis.
Let me sharpen again by contrasting. I'm choosing my words carefully today. Let me say, when I have conflicts, it works. Right. But contrasting your role, for example, with, say, a radiologist who now looks at an image, MRI, ultrasound, or whatever, and also comes out with a determination. It's about the same thing. We want to get a clearer picture of what is going on.
Absolutely.
Right. So you are developing the negative. Yeah. And then you give the product to the clinicians
Yeah.
who are now the front line with the patient or the client.
Yes.
Yeah. So is it a battle? Is it a turf war? No.
It is not.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a collaboration.
Right.
That's what I mean.
A
It's supposed
multidisciplinary approach
to
to
a patient
identifying
Yeah.
what is wrong and then to
Exactly.
healthcare.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes. I think when we all work together, then we get the best outcomes
Okay.
for the client or the patient.
Great. Keeping it together. I hope you're on the other end. This is Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7.
Joy 99.7 FM.
My name is Nortey by nature. No reference range, just that. Right? And then I've got biomedical scientist in the studio and on Zoom. Dennis, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can do, please.
Okay, I was getting ready to do sign language. Yeah? But good to have you. I was just dusting off on the role and the scope, right? You sent me quite a lot of stuff ahead of this part 2 collation. We are not yet gazetting, but anything you want to chip in specifically?
Oh, no, I think just alongside with the discussions, last week when we were about wrapping up issues of the accreditation and those matters came up, and I think it's going to be things we will pick up.
Okay.
But as my colleagues have already said, it's a teamwork, it's a collaborative work, and we share light on areas that doubts may be, depending on what clinically the patient has presented.
Okay.
Then you can specifically look into those things, whether you are considering the tissues, you are considering body fluids, or whatever is important to help outline the diagnosis, and of course also help in monitoring the patient. That is definitely the role that the lab scientists play. So it's a collaborative work to make the patient well.
All right. Teamwork, TEAM. Together, everybody achieves more. Great. Yeah. But let me ask, accreditation, right? Last week, we went through that. We heard about ISO, and what can you tell my listeners? Accreditation. We mentioned HEFRA and all those regulatory bodies, right? Statutory bodies that check that the right thing is being done. But when we say accreditation, Dennis, what do we mean?
Okay, thank you. So it's good we are back on this. So the lab, as we have been trained, if you undergo your training processes, a program that is being accredited by, we said, a regulator. So the regulator will have to approve the course that you are mounting for students to come and pursue.
Okay.
So once you have undertaken the courses, then it means that that accreditor, or let's say the regulator, is going to license you because you have gone through the knowledge, the practicals, and everything that you need to help in diagnosis.
Okay.
So once you get your license, as we talked about, if you go to the field, and let me use something like, assuming I want to check the blood levels or sugar levels in the blood of somebody.
Okay.
For us to go on and make diagnosis for diabetes, or even to help in the management of diabetic patients.
Right.
If I come to the lab and I collect your sample, right from the point of collecting the sample, the organization needs to be top-notch. The personnel that are working on the person needs to be top-notch. I'll have to work with equipment.
Okay.
I'm going to deal with reagents. I'm going to deal with processes with my pipetting, the equipment I will use, And of course, am I using a management system that will collaborate and connect all these dots that I'm talking about?
Okay.
Then how do I even report the results for the person who requested for it here in the client, either the clinician, the nurse, or whoever is requesting for the test, to appreciate what we have done and to be sure that the test I did, if I get a sugar level of 5, or I get 7.0, or I get 11.0 millimole per liter, how sure am I that the figure I have given, if consistently you go to another lab in Bunkrugu Yoyo, you go to Upper West, you go to Western North, you are going to get a similar result, which is still going to tell the clinician that this person is having increase in the sugar level in the blood, which is hyperglycemia.
Okay.
In that case, if consistently you are moving in that range, we can say that the person is diabetic.
Okay.
So when we look at all these things and the processes I outline, at each level, there are standards you need to certify. You need to be sure that they are in place so that your results can be trusted, and we will say that you are having reliable results.
Okay.
So if we talk about accreditation, all we are trying to do is that there are 12 elements, 12 blocks that will help us right from collecting your sample through the analysis, the reagents I will use, the equipment I will use, and how I'm going to report these results to the client who requested is following the standard processes.
All right, great.
So if you have all that in place, then an accrediting body who looks at the standards with a checklist can say that this lab, for this year, you are accredited because all the standards as we came, we checked the boxes and they are present.
Great. So for this year, for the now. So which means that accreditation can be achieved, but it must be reviewed and renewed. So
there is a process of review.
Yes, let me just, if you may. You may be accredited over a period, right, under inspection regulation. You may fall short of some of the criteria that you have been accredited for, and therefore that is why your accreditation as a lab, as a bioscientist, must be renewed.
Continually renewed.
Right.
Continually. So it's a process you can't stop. You can never end and say it's a destination.
All right. So I can't. I just want to hit that hard. I can't be photocopying my accreditation every year without reference to the regulatory body and the accrediting.
You can't do that.
Great. Okay. Right, folks. 22 minutes past the hour of 2. We will still get into the lab. Okay. Today we'll go into the lab, right? Because there are things that get done. Yeah, I'm sure you know pre-employment screening and other things. When we go to the universities, there's a whole period where we are supposed to undergo medical screening, and some of us use that to meet new girls and boys.
Also a good reason.
It's also pre-selection, it's screening. But again, these are important bases, scientific basis for important critical decisions. We can offer you this position and retain you in this position because you possess all these things. Right? You cannot be in the army or here because you have this. You cannot drive because you have this condition, and so on and so forth. Right? So we're in serious business here. And any quick blips on accreditation? I think Dennis has done the deal.
I think Dennis has done a good job. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would hasten to add that there are a number of laboratories that may not have the ISO accreditation stamped on them, but are actually working to those standards. And the reason being that it's quite expensive to undergo the process. So for some laboratories, even though their systems
cash.
No,
who was standards?
Okay. But that might be a little bit of a deterrent. However, that does not stop laboratories.
Expensive but stringent.
Yeah,
yes. It's not just paying for it. You're not buying the accreditation.
You're not buying the accreditation.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
It's just the inspection and so forth that requires. And in addition to that, you have to undergo external quality assessments.
Right.
Things like that. I mean, that's one of my pet peeves about Ghana, I must say, because as part of the accreditation process, you need to undergo EQA, which means that you need to have your laboratory take part in a program where all of you are testing the same sample, a number of laboratories. And then the last time Gershon and I were having this conversation, we don't understand why this is not locally available in Ghana.
It's not happening here?
No, you have to use samples that are brought in from abroad. So the EQA samples that we subscribe to, like my lab and Gershon's lab.
This is just like school where show you're working. You are actually being measured alongside people.
Yes, yes,
and
exactly.
you're doing the same thing, and you should, if you are up to scratch, come out with the same outcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet, the EQA program that we subscribe to is not a local program; it's an international program.
Foreign.
Because we don't have one in this country, and that is basic. That is something that should be easily accessible to all testing facilities in this country. We should have a national quality assurance
system.
Yes, where all testing facilities can
say that
perhaps
again for me. We do not have
we do not have one.
We
At least
don't
if there's one,
have it.
I'm not aware of it.
I think in the past we used to, but it was not vibrant, and it just went down.
Okay.
And since then we've been relying on the external quality assessment.
Right.
Even the ones that we even use, though not the actual external quality assessment, we have that some on the market that we have to get to our laboratory. As we are running our tests, we are incorporating it into it.
Okay.
But every good laboratory also have its own internal quality control system alongside with the one we go on the market.
Right.
And when you go out for the external quality assessment, where we have all subscribed to, when your results comes out, you know that you are doing the right thing.
Right.
You see, and that is very refreshing.
Okay.
To see that, okay, you ran your sugar over here, you had 6.0. Then the results come. They say, oh, you had 6.0, but the standard is 6.5. It will fall within the same range, and it's very, very refreshing for you to be told that yes, you've passed your external quality assessments.
Okay, great. So just like you would want to test your brofo, yes, Dennis wants to say something. I know. Just like you want to test your brofo and do TOEFL. And yet TOEFL, test of English as a foreign language, right? There are external standards for quality assurance, right? And our labs here and my guests are saying that they ascribe to these and they aspire to meet these standards as a maybe, let me use that, a higher standard or another standard, another level, right? Of should I say accreditation maybe. Dennis, you wanted to say something because they said that it doesn't exist in the way it should.
Oh, so thank you very much. Just to add that, fortunately, Ghana now has a Ghana National Accreditation Board.
Okay.
And in fact, there are some facilities that are going through accreditation processes.
Ghana National Accreditation Board.
Accreditation Service.
So
it's under the Ministry of Trade.
Right, slow down. So it covers accreditation for all manner of things, or are we just talking biomedical science?
So the lab specifically is also going to be accredited by these bodies.
Okay.
So just as my sister has an accrediting body, I don't know if hers is coming from
to correct you, Dennis, to correct you, our accreditation comes from the Ghana National Accreditation Board.
So excellent.
I wasn't talking about.
She mentioned EQA.
I wasn't talking about the accreditation. I was talking about the external quality assurance that we have to undergo as a part of the accreditation process. And I was saying that yes, independently of the
national,
the national, you have to run an EQA, and that EQA is required for you to be accredited. However, it is not available locally.
Sure. So thank you.
You have to subscribe to an external EQA in order to satisfy the requirements of our Ghana accreditation, and generally around the world, accreditation boards will require you to take part in some sort of EQA program. But my issue is that EQA program is not locally available.
Great. Well taken. Dennis.
Yeah, so which is perfect. So at least I just wanted to highlight the fact that we are fortunate to have an accrediting service in Ghana, and we are hoping that is well empowered. But just to add, the external quality assessment is very important and necessary. However, if in your work you have quality controls, every day you do your test, like the diabetes test I use, before I test for sugar, you have to do your quality controls every day and be sure that they are fine. Of course, you add that layer of external quality assessment, which my dear sister mentioned, as part of the accreditation process.
Okay, right. You EQA, folks, right? And my EQA here is that I involve you, my listeners, on WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, X, right? You are my EQA. You're listening, you're hearing this, right? How will you know a lab has done all these things and is duly, properly in possession of the requisite accreditation that indicate, right, that and communicate that they meet these standards, and therefore you and I are safe, right? And indeed they themselves in there are safe as well, right, if they observe all these benchmarks. Okay, so 03022165541, those are my EQA numbers. WhatsApp EQA 055 11 997. I read up on all of these things, so when you see me being too known, it's not just the length of my nose, right? But I remember during COVID, I had a fight with some professionals about emergency use accreditation, authorization for certain pharmacological products under crisis situations, right? And some people were fighting with me. They didn't know how I stayed up to read. So please, my phone lines are active, and yes. We had to give some emergency use authorization. America did it, Ghana did it, specific to its jurisdiction. FDA had to authorize certain things to be used during COVID. And okay, remember during that time, these people I'm playing with in the studio, Charlie, they were not easy. Oh, Charlie. It was not a cocoa season, it was crisis.
It was a crisis.
Right. 03022165541. Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. Okay. Right. So let's come back to the business. Let's presume, okay, that all these things are well in place. All things being equal, right? Let's just quickly hit that and then come back into lab proper. You know, tests and then common things that people should be running and all that. But in every endeavor, there are fakes, there are original counterfeits. Original counterfeit. Right? So is the biomedical science spectrum also beleaguered or played with people who are not qualified, as we have discussed, but how somehow have gotten themselves into the space, and many unsuspecting clients and patients may fall, let me use the word victim. Gershon.
Yep. Yeah, normally as a director, I'm very critical and very particular about who comes to my bench.
Okay.
Because that is where my signature is.
Right.
So when you are coming, I must make sure that you are well qualified and licensed by the professional body.
So this means that in terms of your personnel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of our personnel,
yeah,
you must make sure who is coming. Right from the bench, who is coming. Is it licensed by the authorities that are supposed to license them? So we require all these things. Apart from moving from the bench, we are coming to the supporting staff. Who is at the front? Who is handling what? Have they gone through the proper training? At least to have good results starts from sample taking, sample integrity.
Let me slide tackle you. Can I not just open? I have money. I have money. I want to open a lab as a business. Okay, maybe I did medicine, I did something else, or I did nothing, but I'm setting up a lab.
No.
Can I, like, hang on, like a football coach, buy players?
You
right?
can.
You can.
Yes, you can.
You
buy
can,
players.
but buying your players, you should have somebody that will certify them and make sure that you are getting the right.
Must there be a biomedical scientist at post at every facility?
Exactly.
Yes.
Nortey, you'll be surprised.
No, I'm not getting the yes. Must there? Is it a requirement that if I go to a lab,
yes,
there must be present, right?
Definitely.
There must be.
There must be a qualified biomedical laboratory scientist sitting there to work who understand.
Can I ask?
Yes, you can. It is your right to ask. Who is running my check?
Okay.
Who is running my
test? Are you required to display any indication, any certification that shows that you do have a duly accredited, registered, blah, 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 biomedical scientist as part of your operation?
HEFRA will have to give you a license to that facility.
Health Facilities Regulatory Authority will give you that license.
Yes, because when they come, before they give you that license, they have to go through all the process. Who are the people at the bench? are they qualified?
Okay.
Have they been regulated by the Allied Health and Professional Council? If that is no, then I don't think they're going to.
And this is not by WhatsApp. Gershon, are you okay? Then Hefra says yes, you are okay.
Yes.
They must.
They must certify, because and they will come regularly to come and check.
Okay.
Who are those people still on your bench?
Okay.
I think Allied Health Professional Council also go around to find out.
Great.
Whether they are right personnel on the bench. At times you'll be surprised that even your janitors, they have to see them. Have they been trained well? How to handle it? Because that I'm telling you, you see somebody in their glove, you don't just have to use the gloves and open open the door.
Flight captain speaking. He did not say genitals. I know you guys. You guys are bad, right? Go ahead.
Let me use the cleaners.
Right,
janitors, the janitors, the cleaners.
It's me being mischievous.
Yes.
But I'm not naughty by nature. I know my listeners. Right. So
they open they open the door, but with their gloves on, but if they are well trained, they know how to open the door.
Okay.
Your washroom, how to handle it.
Okay.
All these things are part of the criteria to make sure that the facility is up to standard to really handle.
Okay, Liz.
But the most important thing is the personnel working on the bench.
Great. Yeah. Okay. How should I, listening to you, wonderful people, well qualified, accredited, etiquette, all those things. Yes. How should I report or draw attention if I suspect there is a facility parading itself as an accredited, qualified biomedical facility and may not, in my estimation, meet these things? Is there a hotline I can call? I did this some years back with Hefra, and in Kenya, they on a daily basis update, right? And you can actually see who is where and who's accredited. Is there a process by which I can say, hey, I have misgivings about this facility?
Well, I would assume that anybody who feels that a laboratory is not performing up to standard can report to HEFRA.
Okay.
I would assume that that's the right channel.
Okay. Dennis.
Yeah. That's the regulatory authority.
Who do I report to, please?
So one, HEFRA, as my colleagues have mentioned. Two, you can also report to the police, because in the law, it's an offense if anybody is trying to harm you or somebody is a potential person to cause harm. So those people can be reported as well to the police. And of course, if it's a person you are thinking about, the authorities in that facility too, you have the right to check whether those people that are working on you are right to work on you. In fact, that is why you have to know their ID cards, you have to know whether they have their license, and all these things are ways that you have to check. But we wouldn't want to put so much pressure on the patient. For that reason, that you have these authorities and bodies that are to constantly check the facilities and be sure that the people that are there are rightfully placed there, not to cause harm to the patient.
Okay.
But beyond that, the patient also has a right to take their own responsibility and find out whether the people working on them are qualified or they are doing the right thing as expected.
Great.
But at least this has prompted, I will have to discuss with Allied Health and see if there can be an emergency hotline that people can also call and easily draw attention to it.
Do you have a board member like I do? Chale, me, I get connections. So please, but my EQA on the phone, you are not firing. 030-221-6541. If you have any questions about laboratories, biomedical science, a particular test you run, and so on and so forth, right? Experiences, testimonies, confessions, and questions, right? 030-221-6541. In the studio, Elizabeth Irene Beatty. She is the what do I call you? CEO.
The laboratory director.
Laboratory director of Patholab Solutions. They are 25 years, and she is 55. Do the math. Right? She's and then Gershon.
20 years. He was 20 by then.
She was 20.
No, I wasn't 20.
30.
30.
Okay, I was just trying to reduce the. I was just trying to lift her up.
Okay.
To tell people that at 20 you can do something.
Okay. Gershon, how long has G2 been around?
G2 has been around almost 27 years.
Almost 27.
7 years.
Hey. So you are using a reference range for your age. Almost 27 years.
Almost 27. I'm going on 28.
Okay, great stuff. All right. Joy FM, Charlie, we've been around though. Charlie. You know, when they were sitting, we were standing. Right? When they stood, we became outstanding. And when they wanted to become outstanding, we set the standards all over again. 030-221-6541, 055-1111-997, Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. With me, Nortey by nature. We're doing the role and importance of biomedical science and healthcare. Any questions, concerns, share with us. Okay? This is from Mama Dele. No? Right. Hello to you, Nortey, and your resource persons. Some of the lab technicians behave badly. November 27th last year, I had watery stool for about 4 days. I went to a hospital and a sample was taken for an investigation at another lab. I was told the results will be ready in 3 days. I fully paid for the service. I had to follow up for a number of days, including making noise at the hospital before the results were issued to me on December 23rd. Okay, so from November 27th to December 23rd, okay, the eve of the eve. The technician was holding up the results. No explanation was given. I've complained to the Allied Health for redress. What else can I do to get proper redress? So the results came, finally. Is that her name? Mama Della believes that the technician was holding up the results, all right? And then she properly and formally put this at the doorstep of the Allied Health Council or the agency there. But is there anything else she should do? She got her results, but the delay...
Well, I mean, if the Allied Health is not picking... I don't know why Allied Health hasn't picked it up, but the facility that she went to, I would assume that the head of the facility, if she goes to the head of the facility to ask for redress, it's possible that they might... attend to her. In cases like this, it might have been, this is just speculation, but it might have been poor communication within the laboratory. Sometimes it's recorded, but it's not given to...
Should there not be a system that flags that we took a sample, we've done everything with it, and it's still hanging?
There should be.
Just like an uncollected passport.
That's right. There should be, but systems don't always work. All right. Sometimes they fail. So obviously there's some sort of failure in the communication channel.
Mama Della, me and Ziggy will follow up.
And I think the facility should have done a bit better. At times we are handling a sample. Something might have come up. We are looking for a particular thing. You just want to go the extra mile to really see what is going on. Make sure what is going on. Probably you just want to have a second, opinion from another source or whatever, depending on your internal arrangement. This thing has to be communicated to the patient for him to understand. But I don't know why it took that.
Right. We don't want to speculate. Right, folks. 42 minutes past the hour of 2. We're still in business. So. Yes, Dennis.
I'll be glad, as you say, you want to do this follow up. Get in touch with her. Let's actually know the details of it. And I think maybe we can use that to harm is already caused, but
test case.
Because almost a month for a stool sample. I don't know what kind of test and the processes for it to get to almost a month. That's quite one of the extreme things.
Well, I mean, obviously she's waiting for her results for treatment.
Yes.
So there is urgency with
there was a delay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, okay. So it is of concern.
Okay.
So when you get the details, please let me know and we see what we...
Ziggy and I will go for this too. Right. 055-1111. This is the only way I can do health. I'm sorry. Right. I can't be rigid like that. 055-1111-997. Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. 030-221-6541. Those are the healthy ISO certified numbers to call to get the information from my guests. I almost said Dr. Elizabeth Irene. Elizabeth Irene Beatty is the director of the lab at Patholab Solutions. Gershon Seckley, who is still baking himself. He'll come out with another qualification pretty soon. He's the head honcho at G2 Medical Laboratory. They are 37 and GBC. Patholab is at Adabraka and Kaswa, right? And Dennis sits nicely avoiding me in Kumasi. Let your questions and calls flow. Let me come back to this as well. If you are accredited, then you will conduct the processes according to standards.
Yep.
Yes,
Right. I do want to believe there are standards for communicating the results.
True.
Yes.
Right? Should it be your technician calling the patient, whispering something? Who communicates the results and in what format?
Well, you should have a clear, each facility needs to lay out a procedure, and the most important thing is what you have laid down is the procedure that you should follow.
Is it facility specific, or is there a universal template and standard protocol?
Well, within the facility, you could have, so long as the person is trained and understands the results that they are communicating to the client, you will have that. In some facilities, it could be the front desk personnel, or it could be the medical laboratory scientists themselves. Whatever the case is, you must have a clear outline about what you do in situations like this, and you must follow the outline that you have laid down.
Okay. In this instance, are you just giving me the results sealed or whatever, or are you opening and
Are we talking
explaining to
It would
client?
depend.
Right.
It would depend. So you are talking about general medical laboratory results.
Yes.
If a client comes in and is referred by a clinician, then the results will be given to them sealed to take back to the clinician.
Okay.
If a client comes in,
Meaning you should not, as the patient, the client, open this. It's not for you.
it was requested by the doctor.
Right.
So the results should go back to the doctor. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there any instance where, Gershon, you can come in on this, where you would communicate directly with the requesting physician?
Yeah, it depends on what you are seeing.
Okay.
At times you can just be working and you realize that this results that you are getting need an urgent attention.
Okay.
So it's right for you to call the clinician and say, look, this is what I'm getting and what is your expectation. And since we are having this, I'm sending you the results via maybe WhatsApp or any other means so that you can attend to your patient there and there.
Right.
But let's say, for instance, you are running a sample and you have an HB of maybe 2. And maybe what you are running, there are additional tests which will take you about 3 days.
Okay.
There's no need for you to keep these results with you. Quickly call the clinicians who are having an HB of 2, and I think this patient need urgent attention.
All right.
Then we just do that one to the patient.
All
But
right.
at times to the patient, they will come from the clinician. You finish running the results. They will say, please, can you tell me whatever is in the results? You tell them, oh, please. The
Tell me.
They said the doctor requested for this. I said, no. But this is about me.
Right.
But it is not fair. I don't know what you told the doctor in there.
Right.
All I'm seeing, I can see a request with a little bit of clinical history at the diagnostic point where the doctor have requested for the test. Probably the doctor is just trying to run a test to rule out, eliminate certain things.
So therefore, you do not need to be in that loop.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you have to send the results back to their doctor.
Okay.
And at times some of the results too are a bit, disturbing. You dare not have to tell the patient there. And at times, if you don't know how to communicate some of this into your patient, you can
have a specific space area.
Yeah, but at times we are not supposed to release results to our patient.
Okay.
It have to be done by the clinicians who is doing a request.
Okay.
If you walk in on your own, probably walk in to check your prostate, seeing your results, I can just cancel you, refer you to the appropriate doctor or a clinic for them to carry from there, because we are all in the same profession, just to bring total and quality health to our client or anybody that walks into our facility.
Right. If you're the one calling Gershon, your results ain't ready. All right. But these are important things to know.
Yeah.
Right. We know you guys on a regular basis are busy. Right. You break down every individual into tiny bits that you are testing, and you write our names and all sorts of reference to identify a unique sample. Right. How do you do that? How is it that, like last week, I've been told I'm pregnant and I'm male. Right. Right. Can you just quickly explain to my listeners? I want to talk about the broader common things that you run, but how do you make sure? Because Charlie, what you are saying is not new. During COVID, I did some employee assistance programs with some companies and organizations, and despite what we were saying, there were times the system should I say, did not work as well, and therefore you were actually calling somebody to tell them their status with regard to COVID, right? Check the name, check this. How do you make sure scientifically that this is not Lotto?
Well, you just have to label appropriately and ensure that the person whose sample you are running is the person whose sample is, whose name
that
is
is
on.
work.
Exactly. It just requires care,
right?
And it requires care on both sides, because that's an interesting point you make. It requires care on both sides, because you've had cases, and I mentioned this last week, where clients sometimes can bring in a sample that's not theirs,
right,
for all sorts of reasons. It could be for drug of abuse testing, it could be for pregnancy. We even had a very interesting situation where a lady came in to have an HIV test done. This was the most interesting one that I have dealt with. Came in to have an HIV test done. The HIV test was positive. This lady came in 2 weeks later, yelling at us, telling us she was going to sue us. We'd given her a false HIV result, and she had gone to another reputable facility and showed us the results and said
as non-reactive.
As non-reactive.
Whoa.
And, well, as you can imagine, I was extremely perturbed by this. We fortunately, I think we still had the frozen sample, so we rerun it, and we were getting the same results that we had before.
Right.
I had a contact at the facility that she had been to, so I called to ask about it and said I wanted to find out if they could give us that sample to test. And the person over there told me, oh yes, this sample came in, but it wasn't a woman, it was for a young man. Yes, she had a name that was... was unisex, yes. And so it turned out this lady had gone with a young man. The young man had taken a sample. This is the most bizarre thing ever. And then came back and was yelling at us. Why?
Was this deliberate?
Yeah, at times it's deliberate.
Some of inadvertent.
No.
Deliberate.
It was deliberate.
You are falsifying the process.
The process. I think, as what you're saying, it's even happening some time ago. At times they go to run a test. Probably they are using it for employment. So they go and run it somewhere. It's positive. So because they want that employment at all costs, they will bring somebody and they give their name to that person, and the person will run their test.
Yes. Because in our facilities, negative. We don't ask you for your passport or your Ghana card.
So
if you come in and tell me your name is Kwesi Owusu, we'll write Kwesi Owusu on your report.
Okay.
So something happened one day where a client came in for genotype. It was AS. Now, first of all, it was SS. Then we don't know what happened. The same name. It was SS. Because the way our system is, the moment you start entry, the name pop up. Then this guy came in. This time, it was AS. So we just say, what is happening? Apparently, it's the same person, but he changed the person that sample was supposed to be taken. And this thing happened after 3 years when they have to investigate. So we had our system being in place, so we just have to go through and over, and we realized that this is what happened. And what happened was that the person fell sick. He was sent to the hospital, and they have to run the whole system. They realized that you came with AS, but here in the case we are having an SS over here. What happened? So the
checks can actually validate, verify, and cross-check.
Yeah, we can cross-check. But you see, that's why we are talking about sample integrity. When you come, I'm taking your sample. It's not, I don't know you. So when another person comes...
people are using me as a sample today.
Then another person comes in after 3-4 days. He says it's called Nortey. He's running the same test. How would you know? Just as my sister said, you are not using your passport, your ID card to check whether you are the real person. And at the end of the day, this is what people try to abuse our system at a point, but
just like politicians at the polling station,
at times we are very, very much alert. We make sure that the sample that we are handling go through, and we mention how do we do this thing. Now, when you enter into the laboratory, there's a unique number that we give you. For instance, you walk in, we give you a number we state the year, we state the month, then there's that unique number that will follow through and through.
Okay.
So as you are going through the system, that same number is being used. Okay. There are some places the name and the number is barcoded. So it's coded throughout the system so that at least when the results comes up, we know this is for Nortey, and Nortey's HB is 13.0.
Right. Okay, great stuff. 54 minutes past, and we're going to zip into this. Professor Albert Akpalu is listening. He said, great show. He wants to know about abuse of typhoid Widal test in use currently. This is a big one, which several years ago I had to do this because there are different samples that you can use for this Widal test and other things.
I think I'll come in here.
Yeah, Albert is asking about abuse. Okay? You know, Gershon, you and I think years back, I come one with Elizabeth where we look at common tests that we should be running at different ages. And I promise you, we'll come back with the two of you, the thrice of you, the whatever, and do that. Okay? But Albert, Professor Albert Akpalu, Albert, I need you, Charlie. Mama needs you. Yes.
Yes, for the Vida test, what is the test used for? To detect whether there's salmonella infection. Salmonella infection is just like a bacteria.
Okay.
That can cause diarrhea and other things. But the Vida, we have the Vida test. But if you would really want to get somebody suffering from having a salmonella infection, the tests you have to do. Normally we do the stool culture. We do the blood culture. We do the urine culture.
Amen.
And for the Vida, it's as a result of, it's an antibody.
Various things can elevate
that thing. So there could be an interference. So now there's another system that's come to say that, okay, use this one, whether you are chronic infection or acute infection, we call the IgM and IgG.
Okay.
You see, that one also help to eliminate the Vida test. For the Vida test, it's just like a screening test.
You're screening.
You are screening. So let me put it this way: we have the antigen, which is the rare organism. Then we have the antibody. After you have reacted with the antigen, it gives you the antibody.
No, uncle.
So so this is it. Just like there is a fire.
Okay.
And you see a smoke.
Right.
Once you see a smoke, there is a fire. There must be the source of the fire.
Okay.
Now at times the fire can go off, but the smoke will be around.
Essentially, in the hands of the right professional with the requisite skills, equipment, and procedures, right, and checks, right, there are levels you can take this.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Where you're dealing with roots or fruits. Yeah?
Yeah.
So he's asking, are some people messing around with this test?
Yeah.
When it comes to typhoid, is possible? Or it's just that they didn't go, they were not as stringent as they could have been?
So let's take it this way. You see, normally if you want to use typhoid as your prognosis, just to see how you can diagnose a patient, I think it's a bit, evasive.
Okay.
You need to go down.
Okay.
Down. Somebody can be having Vida screening with a high titer, but clinically it's not showing anything.
Okay. Great.
So that is why you clinicians have to say, look, I'm having this constant, elevation of Vida screening. So let me do the right thing by doing the stool culture, the blah blah blah, and things just to come out with the right result.
Right. So these are, and you remember in the past, Gershon and I, H. pylori.
Yes.
Goodness me, a stubborn thing, but it is culprit in many things. But we'll get to do those ones. Dennis, did you go off? Oh dear.
No.
Oh yeah.
I'm around.
I tested, it was negative. Not knowing you are reactive. Not knowing you are reactive. Right. Let me ask you this, all right? My question as we try to, level off and leave, mass screening where, like COVID or an employer or organization does mass screening, you're taking lots of samples. We hear about rapid tests. We hear about fast results and all those things. We know many of these are duly tested and approved, but just a word on that. These mass high numbers and screenings, I've handled a couple where, the back-end stuff wasn't done well. Somebody attended a church program and was told they were HIV positive. The reaction was not good. Yeah? And so on and so forth. Somebody also reacted to a hepatitis screening and so on and so forth. Dennis, a quick word on that. What do you say to that?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think what as a country we have to appreciate is that we shouldn't come to the point where screening tests are used as diagnostic tests. Unfortunately, because of the financial situation and issues, that tends to be the norm, where screening tests are most of the time used for diagnosis. And that's a problem, because the proper thing is that most screening tests are to be confirmed before one can issue it out for diagnostic purposes.
You need a positive screen.
Yeah, so employment situation where you have to do a screening, if there is a red flag, if somebody signals that there is this positive identified or whatever, the best thing is to go further and do the confirmatory where necessary. If not, then you don't go further to communicate results to a client. Okay. Because, for instance, the situation that you cited about HIV, the situation you cited about the abuse of typhoid and all that, they are screening tools. And of course, you know the issue, like COVID, when we were using temperature as a screening tool. Okay. If your temperature is high, then we suspect you could have COVID. Okay. But you can have about 1,000 people, and only about 5 of them that temperature might shoot up to say that they really have the viral infection.
Exactly.
So screening tests are not diagnostic. And for that matter, one needs to appropriately confirm the screening test before they use it for diagnostic purposes. Okay. If not, we will come to some of these situations where results tend to change up because the screening tests are having some performance indicators.
Right.
When there is room for one to say that what I said was actually an error. Okay. Except the confirmatory, that will put a layer on confirming whatever the screening has picked, whether it's diagnostic enough to use or not.
Great. It rhymes. Oh, gee, my HIV stuff. People will test and then they say window period. And then they've had window period now, all sorts of things. They're waiting to seroconvert or and people are telling them all sorts of things. Right. We are out of time, but there are 2 of you in the studio. I want to do this with you. Each of you, just give me the most common test that you think the average human being should be running. Can you say that if there's something you should know about your body?
Yes.
Right?
Apparently, diabetes is one aspect, so your sugar test will be done.
Sugar.
Now, currently, we see what is happening.
Just list them. Yeah. Because I'll have you back.
Yeah. Every corner here and there, you are hearing of kidney failure. There's what do you call it? Dialysis center.
Right.
That should be part of you. You have to run your liver function test. For your liver, you have to run your lipid profile. You can run a heart test. If you're a man, you should have your PSA test done. If you're a woman, your pap smear for cervical cancer. You have a breast screening test done also for breast cancer. Okay. Then again, you can check your stool and urine to see whether there are other things that maybe also. So my sister will add the rest.
I think Gershon has covered the most basic ones. Given the time we have, we can pick up another time.
Okay. But Nortey, I want to chip in this quickly. You see, these are normal tests that all the laboratories are running. Okay. We are trying very hard that we should.
Are you running them for money or is because they are important?
For money. They are important for money as well. Okay. Because the money has to oil us. Okay. We want to expand the frontiers of the laboratory, the tests that we run. There are so many tests that are not being run in this country. We have to transport most of them outside this country. Okay. Some of us are in need to really going through the research to see whether we can bring more tests on board so that at least we can save time.
You can run the test.
We can run the time
accurately?
Over here. Yes, accurately.
Here.
Yes, but don't tell you forgotten when we started running the show on the H. pylori thing. People thought we were just joking, but today it's all over the place.
Please, that's one of. I wasn't among.
That's one of the tests. But just quickly to say, you see, when we run all these things over here, it's going to save the patient time so that at least, and again to the clinicians to also acknowledge that we are running some of these things over here.
Great.
So that they can do the requesting for us. Okay.
All right. Liz, birthday girl, anything you want to add to that?
Oh, I figured we're out of time.
I'm just giving you a breather too.
Well, I think yes. Gershon has pretty much wrapped it up.
Okay. Right. So there are things you should run, right? We'll be giving you the tail of the tape when it comes to those tests, right? Yeah. That you must run, and especially if it's something within your reach. Charlie, these days that's non-negotiable. Don't say, he was with us just now, they said this, right? Please. This was a good afternoon. This is Felix from Dodowa. I believe strongly that our public medical laboratories are underperforming because the qualified licensed professionals are not being posted for about 5 years. I always come across this thing. I wonder if they are no more considered as healthcare providers in this country. So people have run, I guess, accredited courses. They've passed out, not as in fainted, but yes, they graduated and they are not being posted and harnessed by the system to do the good work they are qualified for. That's what this person is saying. There's a backlog of about 5 years of persons who have the qualifications and are not being used. Hello, Nortey. My big question is, are all front desk nurses qualified to do tests? You've already called them front desk, right? Sami Intema.
They are not qualified to run some of these tests.
They are sitting at the front. It doesn't mean they are doing the sampling and all those things. No. All right, Sami, good one. Right? Why are these now coming? Ziggy. Are we done? Okay. All right. Okay. This one says about the test that took a long time, the November to December.
Yes.
He said it was a cultured investigation. No one at the hospital was ready to communicate with me about the behavior of the technician. This still focuses on a technician. I've complained to HEFRA and Medical and Dental Council too. Nortey, please help me with a phone number so I could send the documents, right? Well, you can send them here. Ziggy would, forward them to me and we'll see how we can assist.
I think Nortey should follow up on this one.
Hey, you people then. This is how I get enemies. Hi, Nortey. Reading errors are common. Oops. Come on. In medical laboratories, how can they improve reading of the results? Or this is being brought up. Can we quickly hit that?
No, we are not supposed to read errors in what sense?
Well, it's not too clear. My dear Mrs., please resend that. I'll put it into next week's program, right? Reading errors, or let's just say even errors. Okay, errors exist in measurement, evaluation. Yep. Errors exist. There's a variance you look at, right? Dennis, were you going to say something?
Yeah. So I'm just saying that, admittedly, the systems and the processes we have, the equipment we use, and the test we perform, there is an error margin. So I think that's what the person is talking about. Yep. But it's for this reason you want to put in all the quality management systems so that you, as much as possible, minimize it if you can't eliminate. But as much as possible, you always want to put checks and the external quality assessment my dear sister mentioned, so that at a period, whatever you are doing, because of those checks, if you don't eliminate the errors at all, you at least minimize it to the barest number that you can talk about.
All right. On that note, I'll minimize all of you. Otherwise, the quality control checks at multimedia will grab me. 6 minutes past the hour 3. It's been great. It's been revealing, informative, and transformative. We will shortly bring them back so that we can look at some of these tests in detail. Why are you running them in the first place? All right. Was it properly requested? And then how has it been? And how should it be in the labs? All right. I had Elizabeth Irene Beatty, Patholab Solutions, Gershon Seckley, G2 Medical Laboratories, and Dennis Edu JC, almost said Jemfi, right? Up there in Kumasi, and the big man when it comes to the boards and the accreditation and all that. We'll bring them back soon so you can do justice to them in your own crucible or test tube of your choice. My name is Nortey by Nature, produced by Ziggy Badio. We are still testing him but Badio tells you something, right? Stick and stay on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm out with David Ife.